If you grew up gay and did not have completely supportive family, friends, schools, teachers, and others around you, I'm guessing you may have some stuck trauma. That's what I see in a lot of my clients who come to me who grew up gay or came out as gay at a later time. Most of them faced ridicule, rejection, bullying, and even abandonment, just because they're different. So when they come to me for a higher self-hypnosis session, part of the healing that we do revolves around the stuck and trapped emotions from experiencing that. Let me give you an example that happened in one of my sessions and how he got some healing. First, I asked his higher self if he was holding any trapped rejection for being bullied so much when he was younger for being effeminate. And reading from the notes I take during my session, his higher self said, yes, it's in between two hemispheres of his brain, like a sheet blocking the space between the two, and it looks like a cloudy, milky substance. And it definitely started from this life. It's not something left over from another life. I asked his higher self, what's the reason for him to have experienced all this bullying? Was there a reason or a lesson for that? His higher self said later it would be a catalyst for him to truly know what confidence is. He has not had that lesson in other lives. Having that experience shows him the contrast between being placed under others' judgment or creating your own and judging yourself and being truly confident in yourself, regardless of any other opinions. He was a little hesitant on letting go of the rejection, but finally he agreed under hypnosis, and this is what his higher self said in removing the rejection that was trapped in his body. His higher self said it's being slid out, like replaced, almost like pushing Play-Doh through one of those toys and being replaced with something the same shape that looks clear, so there's no disconnection between the two sides of his brain, and the two sides can now see each other. I then asked his higher self, so what can he do to get to the point in his life where he is completely over what other people think about him and so in love with himself that no one else's opinion matters? His higher self said he needs to be selective about who he spends time with and to focus on the love that he receives from the people that do love him and continually let go of what is not needed and continually remind himself of his affirmations of what truly matters until it sticks, which it will. I asked his higher self, so what does truly matter? His higher self said his opinions of himself because he knows what is true, and those who love him are just gravy. Anything else can be set aside in one ear and out the other. It doesn't need to stick. That's what the substance was. It was getting caught in between. Before, instead of going in one ear and out the other, it got caught. So here's where we had his higher self do a little more psychic surgery. I asked his higher self, are you able to go into his emotional, mental, and physical bodies and pull the trauma and cellular memories of being told to quit acting like a girl and act more like a man, and all of the trauma having to do with bullying and the teasing growing up, gather it all up, send all of that shock, pain, trauma, and drama from that and any energetic imprints from him upon those words. And can you send all that up to Creator's light and replace it with unconditional love and light and tell us what that looks like as you do it? I know that was a mouthful, but anyway, so here's what his higher self said. Yes, it's in each cell, a lot of his cells. I'm taking it out individually. Each one has a piece that needs to be removed that looks like a little grain of sand in an otherwise perfectly healthy cell. They are all being gathered together and thrown into a fire. And after a pause, his higher self said, it's done. And this client used to be really involved in his church until he came out as being gay. So my next question revolved around his church, which rejected him. So the question was, the church that he used to go to was a source of safety and comfort, but it turned on him because of his sexuality and was no longer a source of safety and comfort. What lessons was he meant to learn through that whole experience, and has he learned those lessons? His higher self said it goes back to joy. Each life he has attempted to learn this lesson. He has come across a situation that gives him a choice to go in one of two directions, to let it overtake him or to choose joy and love. So that situation with the church was the split in the road for him to be able to choose. It was necessary for him to have the ability to learn the lesson. It was just the foundation or a starting point for this lesson. Then I wanted him to get some healing, so I asked his higher self if it could gather up any pain, shock, trauma, or drama that he might be holding in his body from having been rejected and having the church turn its back on him. Send all that up to Creator's light and replace it with Creator's love. And this is what his higher self said. It's in his stomach and it goes up through his throat and into his mouth, and it looks like muddy clay. It's being scooped out. There's a lot. It's all being scooped out and removed. Ugh, I taste it, he said. It tastes really nasty. And now a different substance, almost like Pepto-Bismol, is being poured down and it's coating it from the inside, replacing the spaces where that other stuff was taken out. And after a pause, his higher self said, and that's done. So in this total session, which took over 3 hours, my client got a tremendous amount of healing from his higher self. This was just a small snippet of what he actually got, but this was a critical part because, as you can see, there are lots of different things in our lives that can cause us to hold on to trauma. I have never come across a client yet who has not had some other form of trauma that wasn't just gotten from this life. We all carry trauma from other lives that wasn't resolved, and even trauma carried in our DNA from our ancestors. So given all of this and all the difficult things that happen in this lifetime, it's no wonder that this earth can feel so incredibly heavy and traumatic. So what about you? Are you working with your higher self? Are you calling on your spirit team? Are you reading and learning how to remove trapped emotions and heal the trauma that you have in your body? Or are you just ignoring it, hoping it goes away and maybe pushing the can down the road to deal with it in the next lifetime? Because holding on to trapped trauma doesn't go away. We actually do carry it from life to life to life. We can truly be master soul procrastinators, not wanting to do the work because the work can feel hard and there's so many other things we need to do just to survive. But here's a few recommendations that might help you get started on your healing journey. First, I have a number of free classes I offer on my website, wokelightworker.com, or you can click the link in my bio that will help you get started on your healing journey. One of the classes that I just finished teaching was a 2-hour masterclass about doing emotional healing for yourself by healing regret, rejection, and resentment. So feel free to check out my website, wokelightworker.com, or you can also find it on my YouTube channel under the name Woke Lightworker. And also on my website, I have a list of spiritual books that I recommend. If you go to wokelightworker.com and click on the shop tab. That will lead you right to an Amazon page where I've listed a lot of spiritual books that I recommend, all of which I've read to help me in my journey. And lastly, if you feel like you want to get a lot of answers in healing all in one time, in one place, you can schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation with me on my website or click the link in my bio to see if higher self-hypnosis and past life regression is a good fit for you.